Alright. Hey, my name's Eric. I'm making a game. That game is called The Godkiller. And you may have heard that advice. Live each day like it's your last. I think it's terrible, terrible advice. It's horrible. It's made by the kind of people that don't ever get anything done in life. They're just kind of like they're people that be. They don't do. They don't make plans. They don't set value upon things that can be accomplished over a sustained effort over an amount of time. And I do believe in doing things that take longer. Anyways, they probably, most of the people that said that didn't literally mean to live each day like it's your last. But I do think it's worth maybe revising that a little bit. Live each day like you're not sure you'll have enough time to do all the things you want to do. And that is what I'm doing with this game. That's part of the reason why I make sure I get time in on it every day, because I don't want to suddenly run into some kind of problem that you can think of, like death. You know, that's the big one. Like maybe you get sick and die. Maybe you get COVID. Maybe you just die. You get hit by a bus. That's kind of like the obvious one. There's other things too, though. You never know when your life is going to be rearranged in such a way that the opportunities available to you right now, the freedoms available to you right now, are gone. You might have to go to war. You might have to take care of someone you love who became sick. You might rack up all kinds of medical bills doing that. You might get sick and not die, but your brain doesn't work like it did before. You might get a stroke. Or you might get like, I don't know, you go walking in a field and some little tickle bite you and suddenly your energy just isn't the same. Honestly, your brain just kind of jumbles around different ways without any bad thing happening. At least for me it has. So 3 years ago, I really loved running. And I don't know what happens. I just stopped liking it that much. Right now I really love making a puzzle game. In the cocktail it is my brain. All the things that poke against it, all the events that happen. I don't know if a year from now I'm going to have it, you know? I'm going to have the stuff that makes me want to build this thing. Right now I do, and it feels important to get it finished. So I'll keep going, and it is important to me. So let me show you what I got recently. I like to start each demo with progress recently made. Each stream with a demo of progress recently made. Alright. So I added some stuff where the face can fade in and out using the new alpha effect. The level controller, which is scripting, or not scripting, but it's a code that controls things specific to the one level, has got some hooks in it where it can set M's emotion. The face is up all the time right now just for troubleshooting purposes, but the overall intent is that it would kind of fade in and out at appropriate times. Okay, now if you see M's eyes, they are pointing towards the hands, which are a character named God, and wherever she goes, those irises, they'll be tracking the hands, and it's accomplished by setting a transform as the target. So the scripting can set anything as something that M should be looking at, or another character once I get the other faces up. Okay. So there's alpha transparency. It's a way to fade in and out the face and have it look nice. Not just look nice, but like if M is about ready to speak and you want to like alert the player, oh, she's going to say something right about now. Having her fade in just before she starts talking, that's useful. Draws attention. It also can fade out when you're in an area that has complexity and you don't want the head to make it hard to navigate through there. So right now it's quite easy for me to see underneath the face at the stairs that are underneath it while I'm trying to traverse it. And it would not be bad to have M talking right now at this opacity while the player was still trying to do things inside the level. It's quite easy to see what's going on. So I started the session without knowing what I'm going to do next. And I like to have a clear task to complete during the session so I can have a good dopamine-inducing, I got this done feeling by the end of the session. It's all part of my brain machinery used to make sure I get this game done. But I am kind of floating here a little bit aimlessly. It won't last for long. I'll find my purpose. I'll find my mission for the session. My mission right now is to block an annoying user who really will not be bothered too much by me blocking him, as he's a bot. He's definitely a bot. He's a bot that I've seen many times before. And I do this blocking thing just to give Twitch a few hints for their algorithms. I'm not under the illusion that it's incredibly meaningful to cut one head off the Hydra, but I am hoping that this little bit of good citizenship on my part helps Twitch to more effectively fight against this bot, which has been with us for at least a year. All right. So let's come back to here. What am I doing today? What am I doing? Let me look at my backlog. When I have this uncertainty, it usually means that I need to do some design. So this is done. This stuff is not specific, it's just telling me, yeah, this first part's done. I think what I'm going to do is make a small fix to one of the levels so I can give myself this sort of I have made progress today checkbox, and then I'll be a little bit more freeform and think about design. So let me just fix one level, and then no matter what happens, I can say I got something done today. I got real progress done. So if I don't come up with anything terribly useful when I go through my design process, it'll be okay. And you might say, well, wouldn't it be okay? Just, it's complicated. Psychological stuff around motivating me, things like that. I won't go into it now because I've already sort of ranted on it on previous streams. So Additum, I fix all blocks I'm not going to do anything on while people are online with me. That's an off-stream level. Alter spelling. Let me double check. Okay, save that. I'm remembering. They have a level pass coming up. Oh, replace player prefab. We'll fix that. Okay, cool. Alright, so I want to see if I've got the LOD problem on the rails. If I do, then I will just go through and fix the rails. So this level doesn't have it, so that's alright. Don't need any attention on this level. Let me go on to the next. Bet you this one has it. Yep, there it is. There's the LOD problem. So it's something kind of like I made a change to a prefab related to LOD, giving it an LOD. Level of detail means different distances, different versions of the prefab will be shown. So I don't know why. I guess I could blame Unity, but I'll just say for whatever reason, the prefab updating produces this bug. And then I have to replace the prefab again. I think it has something to do with overrides, but it does seem pretty consistent. I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't just update the prefab. So I have to do a manual update of the prefab. Okay, so we go rail. I've got this tool, came from a snippet of code that I can use to replace prefabs. It's some pretty simple code. Okay, so that's all the rail east, rail north. I gotta use my hotkeys to go faster. It's other thing too. You know, I suppose you really did make a damn good try with this philosophy of living life as though your days of freedom are numbered. And then if you still don't get to do what you wanted to do, it's not your fault. You won't feel shitty about it. I'll tell you one thing like that for me. I'll tell you one thing about that. That actually happened to me, and it helped me. I was diagnosed with diabetes at one point. And I thought, I do not want diabetes. But I realized there's something worse than having diabetes. There's having diabetes and knowing that you might have been able to avoid it. I would much rather have diabetes after I really tried hard not to get changes to my diet, exercise, all that. Then I just kind of fucked around and ended up with it, and you know, so there's your dignity at stake. There's your dignity. that you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I tried. Things didn't work out, but I sure as hell tried. And you know what? I reversed the diabetes. I did. I lost a bunch of weight. Some of it's back. Cut all the sugar out of my diet, other than like the trace amounts that are in things. I still have that diet to this day. It's a good diet. And at that point, after I made an honest try, if I still got the fucking beaties, then I would have just been like, I tried. It sucks. I gotta stick myself with a needle. I gotta get extra tests done on the regular. But I tried. And you get your dignity back. But if you just fuck around and then bad things happen, you know you could have avoided them if you hadn't fucked around. Or you think maybe you could have avoided them if you hadn't fucked around. That gets your soul. That just makes you feel like shit. It's like you kicked yourself while you were down. So that's one of the big reasons why this project is such a big deal to me, because I just feel lucky right now. I got all this time. You know, I don't got a kid. I decided not to have my own kid. Well, there's a bad side to that. You don't have that experience, all those experiences around raising a kid. Good side is you got lots of time. So if I spent all that time just smoking weed and playing video games and masturbating and it's like that's not a good life. You gotta get some shit done. You gotta do some things. That's all. Alright, turn the heat on, but now it's getting a little too hot. I think I might have invested more time in ways to automate these rails and make them auto tile. If I'd known how much time at the beginning I was going to spend modeling around rails. Because man, there's a lot. Let's see, did I miss any rails? I can tell because they are no longer prefabs. They've been replaced with unpacked game objects. Okay, so what about... Let's just eyeball this whole thing. Okay, so the LOD problem is gone. But I have to redo the rail ends because I'd previously used bits of the prefab to make the rail end. don't know why this is not. Because I hit that button. Okay, cool. Okay, so I generally do this by first making a bunch of copies of this rail-in prefab. And then in the second pass, going and fixing them all up. Just looking for all the places that are now missing rail ends after I updated the rails. And then I go in and put this prefab here. I'm just dropping off like I'm dropping off building materials. Like, I'll be back. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna fix that up. I see like I got real sloppy with my rail corners here too on this level, which is a problem that was there before I replaced all the prefabs. So I guess I get an opportunity to fix that up now. That's fine. See, there I got it. Not every place did I get it though, on the first pass. Okay, so I think I got rail ends in all the places that are going to benefit from them. Now let's unpack them so I can use their individual parts. There's some more. Okay, I'll set my snap to a different grid size so I can do finer positioning. The 1 meter positioning is used to put things like on individual squares, and then for more detailed work, you need to snap on 0.05. I guess that would be like 5 centimeters. Since 1 equals a meter. I can tell you that I've just demonstrated more knowledge of the metric system than the average American. What is that? Is that the same bullshit but for grades? Oh, it fucking is. I had no idea LOD was going to be such a pain in the ass. It brought immediate good results. But did I make a deal with the LOD devil? Not for my soul, but for large amounts of my time. See, that is the same kind of bullshit that I had with the other stuff I replaced. I only got a few grades here. I'll come back to it though. I'll come back to it. There's some grades up top too. I don't want to get distracted from the first thing I was doing, which I'm set up to do with snapping and everything. Okay, so that looks good. That's probably good. here. Let's go upstairs. 2, I guess. It'd be fun to just figure out some denial of service attack on bigfollows.com. They definitely deserve to get shit on. But I'm not really a hacker. I don't have time for that kind of stuff. I like to build things. Don't like to destroy things, I like to build them. Oh, I got fizzed. Put this while I think about it. Great LD fix. Thankfully I haven't used greats as extensively as Rails, so missing geom on 0. Okay. Because if I see it in one place, I'm probably going to see it in all the others too. So the idea behind that level pass list is at some point I'll need to start at level 1 and go through a checklist of things and see if they're all okay, then move on to level 2 and kind of repeat the whole thing as I go through 56 levels, maybe 60 by the time I actually do it. And just go through and make sure I got everything. So I might as well be efficient about it. Might as well check multiple things in one pass because it's a lot of scenes to open up and edit and go on to the next one. So if I'm going to be doing that to make one set of changes, it'll go a little bit faster overall if I just have this checklist of things to do on that pass. I might not get every single thing on that pass, but you know, just being organized about it, what I update will help me out. Okay, so there's the LOD problem on the top grades too. So clearly I need to replace all the grades. Who knows if I've got that issue with spikes, so I'll have to keep my eyes open for spike levels too. If I do any more LOD work on any other objects, I might have the similar problem. I don't like that, by the way. I really don't, because it feels to me that if you create a prefab and then you update that prefab and you don't make overrides on the prefab, feels to me like all of the instances should just update. I think it is a bug someplace that they're not updating correctly for the LOD cases. But Unity has a lot of bugs in it, let's be honest. I think it's worse than there just being bugs, though. I could be wrong about this, but I think Unity might be at the correct balance between fixing bugs and adding features for its place in the market. As much as we'd like to have all the bugs be fixed, in order for them to get more people to be interested in Unity and to say, I'm going to go use Unity instead of, say, Godot, or crafting their own engine from scratch, like the handcrafting community or Jonathan Blow. In order to keep the focus on their engine, they have to say, look, can you do this? Can you do this? This is new. We can do this now. They got to keep wowing us with the features. And they have had some good features. So for me to say, y'all ought to go fix your bugs, it's a bit naive. Like, there's a conflict of interest, essentially, between what I would like Unity to do for me. I'm running the free version of Unity, but which makes my argument more ridiculous. I will pay for it when I get closer to release. So there's a conflict of interest between what I would like Unity to do for me and what they should do for their business to be profitable. I think this is true for a lot of things that I end up complaining about as far as software quality goes. If humans didn't chase after all the shiny shit, software would be better. Okay, I got the rails. I don't see any unfinished rail ends. Okay, I got all those. Let me finish up the grates, and then I can move on to a design session. All right, grate cross. Okay, did I get it? I got it. Let's see. All I did is replaced the prefab instance with a copy of the actual prefab, and it fixed it. Another thing I wish I could do in Unity, I don't know any way to do it, is reestablish a connection to a prefab. So when I used that replacement tool, it changed all these grates to non-prefab instances. Let me double check and make sure I can't do that. I don't want to rant about things that I could actually be doing. Unity reconnect scene object to prefab. Can I do it? Yeah, this is the one. I'm wondering if this is a real method or if you just made that up. Huh. Obsolete. Obsolete. You know, maybe I've been ranting about something I could just fix. Let me take a look at that code. That code that does the replacement. Here's the same code right here. Let me see if it actually uses this. It might be, this is wrong. Okay. It is the same thing, right? Yeah, it's right. It's the exact same. Okay, cool. So let's do great. Well, now it's no longer a prefab to begin with. Okay, fine. We will get a new prefab out there. So let's say we will get this one to be replaced. Let's rename it. Nah, I don't need to rename it. Okay, so there we go. Selected. Let's say, let's replace it with great cross. Okay, I'm guessing that it's not being seen as a prefab. Okay, there's another thing I like to do on these guys, just so I can see what the hell I'm looking at. Prefab, attributes. Because there's so many functions for checking what a prefab is, and they're kind of hard to make sense of for me. So I think the one that I was looking at is outermost prefab instance root. Yeah, that one right there. But I also think I'm looking at the wrong object here. I think I should be looking at replace instead of with. I think this is the bug right here. Okay. This one is a prefab, right? Yeah, okay. Let's replace it. There we go. Now we'll see if it works. Exception. Nope. I guess it would be kind of nice to keep the name. Oh, I've got that. Okay, cool. All right, that's great. The thing I was ranting about was not something that I needed to rant about. Almost every time I start ranting, there's something better I could be doing with my time. Let us go back. Give that guy a little cookie. Quite helpful. All right, I'm off into design land now. Got my progress done. Now let's get to design. Also, I did all this stuff, so I'm going to delete this. Okay. Let's see. This is... I keep my backlog cleaned up. Face controller, had a whole bunch of stuff at the top. I think I did all this stuff. Maybe I'll leave my design thoughts in here for now, but let's delete that. You think, what are the questions that seem open to me? Open questions. What face animation instructions should be in lips versus level controller? Okay, so when I say lips, there's a file format that I created called lips. And I'm going to open up one of them to show both you, the audience, and myself, who wants to remember what was in it, what the heck is in a lips file. Let's see, where do I have it all? Okay, open with, text edit, why not? All right. So it has all the timing for lip movements. All the timing for lip movements. You can also have emotions. You can set an emotion at different places. can have text that gets displayed as subtitles. So in this case, there's a song that goes along with this. I'll even play it. Why the hell not? Work assets, songs. We got the knives. You're not gonna play for me? Jesus. That sounds terrible. I wonder how bad my voice sounds. That sounds really bad. It's definitely a broadcasting issue with Air Server. I don't think it'll hurt anything if just for a moment I just restart Air Server. It seems like it's really shit in the bed right now. So let's quit. Let's quit Air Server. You know, not for a tangent. Not for a tangent. I don't need to play that song right now. I don't need to play it. That's definitely a tangent. So forget that. Okay. So it's got the lyrics inside of these little brackets. There are phoneme codes. Phonemes map to visemes. But inside of here, like OW is the alphabet phoneme symbol for O, that sound, right? Not O, it's just O, you know, it's just the pure phoneme. No diphthongs. L, and there's all these spaces here. Each one is 1/24 of a second. So in my authoring tool, I can go through and put in these spaces in between the phonemes, and it gets saved this way. It's human readable, this format, but it's actually the same format that I edited in the tool as well. So I want to be a little bit careful with sunk cost fallacies around this tool. I'm proud of this tool, but it's got some problems with it. I don't even know if I can get it to run right now because of my lapsed Dropbox account. Let me see if at least it's got the previous files. The previous files that I saved on Dropbox. Let's see. So we go documents. Yeah, I think I just got so mad at Dropbox I might not even have that stuff there. Anyways, so let's go back to my open questions. Do I want to rewrite the ellipse tool? Or let's do it differently. What tool will I use for authoring. I won't even say lips because I want to be open-minded. No sunk cost fallacy for authoring animation that corresponds to audio. That's what lips did. So it goes back to the first question. There's animation that corresponds to events within the level. The level controller actually says something happens right here, so therefore let's animate with that. But almost every single event that I want to animate facial stuff to is synchronized with audio within, is synchronized with things that happen within the audio. Okay, so options here. Get web. Based lips editor working again. And fix bugs. Cicada, good to see you. Yeah. Exactly. So I did this thing earlier, and like it's broken now, and I could fix it, but let's see if I'll show a demo of it real quick. I've got it recorded. I'm not a fan of the animation-based tools inside of Unity. They just put me in a corner every time. But let me be open-minded about it. I'll just say that they automatically get a -1 from me. So I've had such hell with them. And as they upgrade things, things tend to break. So let's see. There's something really weird about YouTube on Chrome on this computer today. Let me just switch to okay, but let me show you the thing that I came up with, which I think is better than other authoring tools I've used for lip animation. Okay, so we'll say C space labs. So I can get here on something that works. Okay, there. It's going to be way down at the bottom. Oh, here we go. What? Everything's falling apart on me. Every single thing. And not just the stuff I make, the stuff other people do. Let's see, okay, so this is... That's 24 seconds. Maybe it just had my earlier play position. That... Maybe YouTube decided to compress it because I haven't used it in a long time. Okay, let's try this other one. There's some fakaka about this whole setup. Anyways, for some reason YouTube isn't working well on Chrome on one of my computers today. But if it would just pause and stay put, I would explain it just by... God damn it, man. Fuck, I'll just explain it without any visual aids because everything breaks. Okay, So I wrote this system of authoring lip animation, and it allows for someone who's very familiar with audio editing to make lip animation fast. So whereas most tools for authoring lip animation are based upon traditional animators working on them, for someone with my background who spent like a lot of time listening to audio and scrubbing through audio and stuff, it works super fast. It plays the audio as you move your cursor over these positions of phonemes, and you just hit spaces where you want there to be more space. And I created a race between myself and a professional animator, and I won. Not to be proud, it's more like proud of, not proud, but it's like the tool I made was really good for me to make lip animation, and probably I can find other people that have like a similar skill set and I can train them to use it. So I think I innovated a little bit, and I actually discovered something that allows lip animation to be created faster than most people can do it. And that's why I talk about sunk cost fallacy, because I don't want to keep fiddling with this tool if the amount of effort that I'm going to put into getting it to be like a proper workflow and everything is going to be a lot more than something else. So let me just say some of the options that we, like one that you just described, using Unity Timeline, that's on the table. So I'll say that. So let's see, port lips to Unity. Number 3, revise. Yeah, I agreed. It's not though. It's not just manipulating transforms. So the place I'm starting from, let me close some shit. Safari quit. Place I'm starting from. Save that scene. That was some good edits. We have some code that blitz a face onto the screen that you'll see working in a moment. And there's different parts that make up the face. You know, the eyes will go down and track, you know, whatever you want to draw attention to. Anyways, there's a bunch of different parts that make up the face. They get blitted, and that all works. It's the controller code that needs to be thought through. Okay, so as far as manipulating transforms, there's nothing like that, because it's just going to be a face that shows the top different characters. Like Billy down here, he'll have a face that pops up over him. We'll set a target to whatever is important to the character during certain points in the timeline. I say timeline more generically. It could be Unity, it could be something else. You know, there's emotions. There's one of 11 different emotions that can be on each character's face. Blinking, and then the visemes, which are the lip animations. The lip animations should be synchronized to audio, of course. So those are the things to solve. And the thing is, there's a lot of code that's written already, and just a few things that are maybe not 100% there. So I'm not starting from scratch here. So I know I've got the lips editor. So they're not really... Okay, they're not separately rigged objects. They're a single rig. There is... In fact, since they're UI elements, they're not game objects that are on the screen at all. They're screen draws or graphics dot render target or something like that. I forget. I have to go look at the code. The parts of the face are rendered from a single texture. So I go here. Here's the face sheet. It's got these different parts, and it just blitzes to one single intermediate texture, and then the intermediate texture is rendered to the screen on the onGUI event. And you know, there's an ability to switch between these 11 different emotions. If the character is talking, these things go over the bottom half of the face for all the different visemes or different mouth movements you can make. The irises and lids move around. Yeah, but it works, man. That's the solve part. That's the solve part. And also, I've got like some faith in like this particular. I won't say this technical approach, but as far as like for being able to express story well with face animation using these parts, I'm quite happy with that. So those are kind of like in the solved category, I guess. I don't have a reason to depart from that. The part that's left over is authoring the events that would update animation of lips. Yeah, but the authoring, man. The authoring. So yeah, you can go into the timeline and you can have your little audio track in there, and you can say, here's where... I've seen it though, but it ain't shit, man, compared to how fast I can go through in the tool. Like, it is so fucking slow to say, okay, you're going to say, the authoring is nice, as in those literal words, and then you say, okay, on the first frame we have the visine, put that down. Okay, move over 4 frames. You have the sound. Okay, put that there. Scrub it. Play it back. Okay, that's good. Move on. That shit, there's so many hours of that to do. And the tool I wrote makes it fast. And I can even translate that to money too. Like, I could get... I wish I could get the fucking video to... I'm sorry, I'm getting like ranty. I gotta slow myself down. So the tool is broken today. YouTube is broken on my particular computer configuration today. The tool brings up like a text box that has all the phonemes in it. Kinda. You put in the text, and then it converts it to phonemes in ARPABET. And then, as you move through the text box, it scrubs through the audio so that whatever place you are in the text box, the corresponding position of the audio plays for that position in the text box. And then you just put spaces between the phonemes, and that ends up defining a file that looks like this. So if the line is "Oh Little Nothing," which is the first line of a song, then in my tool it generates, at first it looks like this without any spaces in it. So all I do is I say I'm going to have the text "Oh Little Nothing," and then some code generates, yes, exactly that, like the unspaced version of it. And then when I'm in the tool, I go inside this bracket here, and the little bit of audio in the WAV file, it plays at that exact moment. It goes, oh, and I move over a little bit, and I go, oh, and I start to hear the L sound. It goes, look, and I know, okay, I need to, I'm done with my spacing there. So all I do is I go like, I'm hitting space, and I hear the L, and then I stop putting spaces in here. I just keep going through. It's like that. It makes complete sense to someone who edits audio, and it's really fast. That's the thing I don't want to lose, because I can train some high school student to do it, and or we just burn through the whole thing. And it won't matter that there's 100 hours of audio that we have to do this with. Get the workflow going. Spend some $15 an hour type of thing. It'll get done cheap. If I hire professional animators, nah. I've already gotten quotes. From teams in India and stuff. It's expensive. Okay, revise web-based lips to not use the RTF stuff. Yeah, I've experimented with like the auto-generating versions of this. So I had a tool called Toon Boom Animation, and there was a couple other ones I tried too. Toon Boom was pretty good. I think there will be some breakthrough at some point where someone will get real serious about like a machine learning algorithm that'll crack it. But the thing that's missing now is so you think so? Yeah. So I have to keep on like reviewing the state of the art every few years. Maybe it's better now. But okay, so there's some different approaches. You can do amplitude. That kind of sucks. It's like if the wave RMS is above a certain amount, the mouth is open. So that's one way to do it. You can make a guess at what the phonemes are that the speaker is from the audio analysis. Okay. And here's the thing I wish I could work on, or I could clue somebody in who is working in on it. They're taking the wrong inputs for their machine learning. So if you took video of a person speaking, you said, look, this is the correct solution. Then you gave the algorithm the audio and said, give me the mouth movement that corresponds to what you see in the video. The algorithm, once it was properly tuned, or the machine learning, it would faithfully create an output that matches the video. What they're missing is having the output that they're regarding as correct being generated from an artist. Because an artist, when they do lip animation, they stylize. There's certain mouth movements that are better to make more prominent, that you would show longer and more readily. So I've not yet seen TV quality lip animation coming from a automated algorithm. Okay, I'm gonna go check out your link. Except I can't because of fucking YouTube not working on my machine. Hopefully it works. Oh, it's working good. It's not working. Sorry. Can't look at it right now. Yeah, I mean, I've done this review like about 3 times now. I'm not saying that there isn't something good out now. It's just like I'll be surprised if they've gotten there yet. I've just seen so much shitty auto-gen. I understand. Maybe you're right. Maybe I've got too much sunk cost fallacy here. Because I know I can get TV quality animation, lip animation. I've done it. I've got videos I made, and it was fast. I've got code for the tool. It's broken right now. I could fix it. I could probably fix it in a few days to get it working for me. I could probably fix it in a few weeks to make it like something that is an appropriate flow for another person to use. I don't know, man. Got my pride about that stuff. Maybe I should let go of it, but I got my pride about it. Because I've solved this problem before. I'm kind of like a South Park style sensibility. Like South Park characters actually, they kind of look good as far as comedy goes, for them being like a little bit bad looking. I don't know. I gotta go down the deep dark well and think about that. Hey, what you been working on these days? Maybe nothing. Don't let me trigger any guilt if you haven't been working on anything. I just thought I might ask. Oh yeah. Let me get your opinion on something. You reminded me, like you've got some knowledge in those areas. Let me get your opinion on something. So these are the original colors for the face. I got it set to low opacity. Let's make it like that. Okay. Now then, if I come into Unity, I think I'm going to have to reboot my computer at some point. I just don't have no explanation for a lot of the weird shit I'm seeing. If I come into Unity, let me see. Let's just hit play. I'll take a screenshot of it once it starts. Basically, the coloration is different from the original resource and then what I see in Unity. And let me see. Once I get in here. Yeah, oversaturated, exactly. I'm not sure what's creating that. I fiddled with the import settings, but I couldn't get any difference on the texture. Yeah, that was one theory of mine too. I'm gonna retry the same test I did before, just to rule that out. Don't save. All right, let me do this one more time. I will take the player cam, turn off post-processing. Okay, now it's just kind of like not saturated. Okay, let me check this again. I think because on the GUI call it's immune from the post-processing on the camera. Okay, so we'll go. This time I will copy it to the clipboard. Makes it easier. Hey, Mateo. Hey, you're going to sleep. Good to see you. I hope you have some real good sleep. Sleep is important. Never mind the extra layers and stuff in here. I'm messing around with a few things, but yeah, so it got darker. Linear versus gamma, that seems reasonable. Blunderton. So I had it working without any bad coloration up until I started using an intermediate buffer to copy to. Yeah, but I mean, man, that was gonna mess up all my coloration though. Let's see, hold on. What am I actually on? I forget where to find these things. Aha! Local storage is your friend. Okay, rendering. Where is that at? You catching the tail end of Mateo there. He used to call himself Mate God or Mate God. I don't know how to pronounce his new handle. Okay, I'm glad. I don't want to change my color space because like I fiddle around with so many other things, so I'm happy that at least that's not something that's going to end up changing. But I think, but it's all shaderless though. So the code, it copies to a texture 2D, and there's some intermediate work here. It's all these things where it says face to work. It's just copying something else onto that intermediate texture 2D. What do you mean? Okay. At the end of it all, there's draw work to screen, and that's on the on GUI hint. It's on the on GUI, and it draws a texture, but it draws it like to a specific XY location. But it's okay. It's a good theory, and it did fix the problem I had earlier. So, like before, I used this texture, this texture 2D, the intermediate texture. I did change the sRGB setting on the texture, and it did get the colors to go how I wanted them to. But then after I introduced the intermediate texture and I started blitting to it, I say blitting, I mean copying pixels to it. I guess. It's kind of like a maze, though, you know, Cicada. It's like I look at different ways to do it, and each one is kind of got something that doesn't work for the intended solution. So if you say use Unity Sprite, okay, so I could put them all inside of, like, all the parts that make the face. I could put them inside of separate game objects. I guess I could do that, but then I mean, maybe that's better, but it just feels like I got everything working except there's just one thing left. So I'd be redoing all the stuff that works now and is performant in order to fix the last remaining problem of you know, the colors being kind of screwy. Yeah, I don't know. It feels a little tomato to me, though. I don't know. I'd be throwing out stuff that works, you know, and just redoing it to fix one problem. Like it seems maintainable to me because I wrote the code. It makes sense to me, right? Like I was thinking, like I've got the array of pixels. I could perform a transformation on them one time to correct the color, and then that same array of pixels would be available for all the blitz I want to do. I guess so, but I mean, it's working. It's kind of precisely controlled, and you know, I've got an atlas of parts inside of one texture. It's reasonably performant. Yeah, I just don't. I need a better reason, or I got to meet a certain threshold before I just throw out all the stuff that mostly works. Like, I might do something like color balance, face sheet. I don't know, but everybody's code that they didn't write looks hard to figure out and maintain. Performance is maybe the strongest argument of what you said, actually, because I know that when I do a set pixel call and I do an apply call, there's a bit of a hit there. There's still code to move around the transforms and hide and show them. So if I want the eyes to move around, I move those transforms around. You know, there's still code there. There's still code to get the right proportion of the face to the rest of the screen. Actually, there you would have a good argument against what I just said, because I have a fair amount of code that is saying on this screen how large should the face be. And if it was instead in scene instead of a GUI component, then that proportionality would just be built in. As far as positioning of the face relative to whatever is next to it, that can be done pretty easily too with in-scene objects. I think you're right. It probably is a little bit simpler, but as far as for me maintaining it later, it's not hard for me to maintain this, man. There's just some stuff in here about saying the locations of things to different places and doing a blit. This color problem, that kind of sucks, I admit. Like, if I write like a color balancing function here, is that really gonna... Yeah, that'll kill a few days. So I'll tell you what. Let me try one thing. Let me just throw a texture in scene and see what it looks like. I don't use the sprite one. I don't know what that even does. How's it different than plain? I'll try that. Let's have it facing up. Build it. And let's see, is that a texture? No. Okay, I'd have to make a material out of that. Sometimes I just drag it here and that'll just make it for me. There we go. Alright, so still have a coloration issue there for this, but let's fiddle with the... Sure. So this is one I tried on and off on, didn't seem to make difference in my new code, did in my old code, the sRGB. I should put an unlit shader. Well, now it can be post-processing because it's not on GUI, right? But I could put this on a layer that's not covered by post-processing. So I could, let's see, I don't know. I'll have to add a layer for that or something. In theory, I could put it on its own layer and then post-processing wouldn't touch it. So let's just, to get this in a place where I know post-processing is not messing with it, let's turn off that. Okay. So there, that looks correct. I have to admit, that looks correct as far as the coloration. Yeah, but you realize that for me to follow this path, it's going to be a fair amount of work, and I don't know what other obstacle I may run across along the way. So it's like, it's not all victory for me from this point. All right, so let's just go back to Photoshop. So this is a good test, at least. This is a good data point. Well, you're right. That's a dubious thing to set out to do, because once it's saturated like this, there's loss of information. So if I take this and I just in Photoshop try to desaturate it, I'm probably not going to get close to the quality of the original. I have to write so much stuff in here. Like, I'd be fiddling with this for a while. It would have to be like some weird kind of color mapping type of algorithm. Yeah, so I can predict that if I have a hard time doing it in Photoshop, I'll probably have a lot harder time doing it in code. But Cicada, the color grading applied to the camera is not responsible for this saturation here. I know that because I turned it off. Because this is drawn on GUI, it goes on top of the post-processing. It goes on top of everything in the scene. So this color change is coming from something besides the camera. No, but okay. So when I had gone to the camera and turned off the post-processing, that is what generated this image. So all this other stuff behind here has got post-processing turned off. It's sort of doesn't have all the saturation, but the on GUI part here still has all the saturation. I think it has something to do with that intermediate buffer that I copied all the pixels to, because before I used the intermediate buffer and I just drew the texture directly to the screen, I had good colors like this. Yeah. But I don't know, you might be right on this. You might be right. I am getting like worried about going down the color balancing algorithm route. I don't think it's a good way to go. And if I run out of knobs to twiddle to fix my already working code, I have to keep on adding that. That code works. It does what was intended, except for the one thing, the color. If I run out of knobs to twiddle there, then what's left? I don't buy the thing that, like, it'll be hard for me to maintain that code. For me, it's pretty easy. I understand it. It's just there might not be a good way to fix the color balancing problem with the route I've chosen. Anyways, I gotta knock off here and make some dinner. I promised I would make some dinner. Bon. Yeah. Hey, thanks for. Yeah, I appreciate you dropping in, and also I feel like almost apologetic about the asymmetry of all these conversations. It's like I talk audio, blah 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 blah, and you're typing away. And I hope, yeah, I like the stuff that you contribute there. It's good to hear from you. I appreciate it. Well, good luck with your VR project, and Plundyton, if you're still on, hope you're kicking ass with your local storage. You can store so much stuff in local storage. If you run out of space in there, look at indexed DB, which is sort of like the big version of it. All right, I'll catch you later, Cicada.